Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Crimson Diamond. So, I want to get back to something that I kind of mentioned. I was a little bit critical of this in the previous video. I just want to kind of touch on this because I was basically saying how are you supposed to know that the ice pick is in the ice box and it's embedded in the ice block? Well, if you open the ice box, and it's I figured that that the fact that the ice block had melted a bit must have some significance because she even comments on it. So I thought, okay, there must be some kind of importance to it. Um, if you actually just look at the ice, it tells you that it's melted a bit and there seems to be something frozen inside. So that's a dead giveaway that there's something inside it that you need to get. And then once you realize there's something in the ice that you need to get, then I guess it's not that much of a stretch to think, how can I get inside the ice? If I can't break the ice with my tools, because remember she tried to kind of break the ice with her hammer or whatever, then okay, hot water on ice probably would do it. So I guess it's not that much of a stretch. That's the kind of thing which you would figure out if you spend some time. Like if I'd spent some time with the game, just trying everything. That's the thing. That's how a lot of these puzzles and these kinds of games get solved. You just kind of try everything, and you spend sometimes hours. I have spent weeks. I think probably there have been puzzles that might have taken months of my life, not because I was constantly just like every day hammering on the puzzle, but because, it took me months to figure out. I'd go back after a while and try some things again and realize after literally weeks or months, oh, that's what you're supposed to do. So I kind of thought about it, and I'm not criticizing the game for being like that because that's how adventure games tend to be. I mean, there has to be some kind of challenge. Not everything can be obvious. You shouldn't make the puzzles too obvious. There should be some kind of experimentation, some kind of searching involved. But I think that's really boring for people to watch. That's kind of the problem. There are certain types of game activities that are really really bad for Let's Plays. For people, watching playthroughs of games because it's boring to watch. Conventional wisdom often said that one of the worst types of games to make a Let's Play of is an RPG, because RPGs are often about grinding. They're just about doing repeating the same sort of action over and over, which may be fun for some people to do, like to actually do yourself, but it was often seen as not fun for people to watch. In retrospect, that's not necessarily true. I think a lot of people have been very successful Let's Players doing RPGs that are even RPGs that are heavily focused on grinding. So it's not necessarily a hard and fast rule. But I kind of thought about this, and since I'm at a point in the game now where we've seen, I assume, most of the game screens, we've probably seen most of the stuff in the game. I think, pretty sure we've talked to all the main characters in the game yet. So we're not at the introductory stage anymore where we're exploring everything and finding all the things out. This is really more at the puzzle stage now. I've kind of recanted an idea of doing this totally blind. I've got that walkthrough open. In the previous video, I resorted to a walkthrough because I wasn't really sure what to do next, and I'm at a stage now where I'm going to load the game. But this is where we finished off the last video, and I'm really not sure where I'm going to go from here. So I'm going to go ahead and probably refer to the walkthrough periodically, because otherwise it's not going to be fun. Because otherwise, I mean, what would I do now if I were just playing this game by myself? I would probably do that same loop again. I would go through every room in the house and try to find something that's different. That's going to get really boring if I do that every single time. It's going to get really boring if I make that same loop every time. So rather than force you folks to watch that, which is going to be extremely tedious, not only for me, but for all of you, why not just save ourselves the trouble, and I'll just go ahead and take little peeks at the walkthrough when I'm not sure what to do, which is like now, for example. So just looking at this, it appears that I can get something from the study after eavesdropping on those two guys who were there. So let's see. So we did that thing. Yeah, we just eavesdropped at the door here on Evan and Jack talking about something. But apparently, is that right? Let's take a look here. Let's take a look at the fireplace. This entire carved as heat during long-term months. You see a length of telegraph tape smoldering in the fireplace. Aha! Okay, so they tried to burn that piece of telegraph tape. Gosh, there's also some powdery soot accumulating in the fireplace. Hold on, let's get the tape. Here, we have to pick up the telegraph tape. Most of the telegraph tape has been consumed by fire, but you can barely make out some words. Bridge, bomb, sabotage, await. Despite your careful handling of the telegraph tape, it crumbles into ash. Oh. Okay. Wait, should I get some of that soot? Oh, I got some already. Okay, so. Somebody. The question now is, I mean, this could go both ways, couldn't it? I'm trying to think, was this an instruction or a warning? This could have been an instruction to someone to bomb the bridge, or it could have been a warning to someone that the bridge had been sabotaged or was about to be sabotaged. Could go either way. Pretty inconclusive as it is. All right, let's not spend too much time dwelling on it. I'm obviously not going to figure out what it is now, so let's just move on. Okay, so that's nice. That's a nice clue, I guess, but it doesn't really get us anywhere, so I still know what to do next. Let me go ahead and check the walkthrough again. So it's telling us to... yeah, okay, so it's telling us about some stuff that I've already done. That's fine. Yeah, already did that. Oh, I guess. That's nice. The walkthrough that I'm looking at here actually also tells you the deaths. I got the impression, I thought I saw somewhere that the deaths in this game are kind of like a collectible, almost like there's some kind of achievement unlocked for getting all the deaths in the game. I'm not sure that I'll get all the deaths, but I guess I'll try to get them. So I guess I'll try to get what deaths I can show. Let's see. So let's go ahead and go out here. Interesting that she leaves the doors open if they're inside doors, but she automatically closes the door if it's an outside door. I guess that makes sense. I guess she's just saving energy, and I guess the inside of the house is heated somewhat, and so it makes sense to keep the warmth inside and not leave doors open to let all the heat outside. I assume that's intentional. It's an interesting touch. It's a cute little touch. I mean, it's not much, but it's not much, but it's a touch. Okay, so let's go ahead and save here at the Cormorants, because apparently there is a different death if you try to walk into the river here. So again, she says, I better be careful, not stray too close. But if we try again, that's interesting. She didn't even get swept. Nancy? Cry me, river. Heed warnings and stay away from dangerous bodies of water. That's interesting. She didn't even get swept away. See, like, in the waterfall screen, I can certainly understand, okay, you get swept away by the strong current, you get swept away by the waterfall, but she didn't even get swept away by the river. She sank down into the river as if she couldn't swim. And how deep is the river? Can't be that deep here. I mean, you can't really see. Well, sometimes rivers can be deeper than they appear, but the river's not that big here, is it? Like, it can't be that deep at that spot where she went in. Anyway, all right. All right, let's go ahead and see. So that was a death. That's nice, but that is not really let's see. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Oh, I guess I should have figured this out as well. Sometimes there's stuff, sometimes these puzzles have solutions where it's like, oh, I guess I could have figured that out if I'd thought about it. Like if I'd actually devoted some time to it, I could have figured that out. But, again, I don't want to waste too much time trying everything here, because if it takes like 20 minutes for me to try everything and figure out what to do next, it's going to be boring for you folks to watch, I think. So I guess what we're supposed to do here is blow that whistle that we got. Or actually, technically, it's a duck call. It's not really a whistle. The game called it a whistle, but it's more like a duck call. You put the duck call to your lips and blow. What a great sound effect for a duck call. A duck? Where? Really? Really? She gets that crazy over a duck? Okay. Kimmy could be back at any moment. What if she caught you going through her things? And it's probably locked besides. Alright, I guess now we can get our sample. I guess the reason we did that was so we can get our sample from here. You chip a sample out of the cliff using the ice pick and the hammer. Hooray! It looks like I've obtained a good cliff sample. I've nearly finished my work for the day, but I really ought to rub the samples on my streak plate. That sounds so dirty. I'm done for today, but I really should rub these samples all over my streak plate. Okay, rub samples on... I just went over here to get away from the sounds of the river and stuff, just because it's a little quieter here. Rub samples on streak plate. Be more specific about which sample you'd like to try. Oh, actually, before we do that, do we need to... I remember we needed to kind of sift through this sample a bit and kind of sort out all the things that weren't supposed to be part of it. Do we need to do that for this as well? At first glance, it's clear this cliff sample is igneous rock. This is consistent with what you'd expect for an area known for garnets. The cliff sample boasts a variety of fine specimens. It's pocked with red and white stones. My, I can see why this area was so good for garnet mining. Well done. Okay, but she didn't actually change it. She did, unlike this part here, she didn't actually do anything. What you see, the cliff sample is coarse-grained, leading you to conclude it is an intrusive igneous rock. Diamond is an intrusive igneous rock, meaning they formed below the Earth's surface when they had time to form into larger crystals. It's possible this area could be geologically suitable for diamonds. Well. Okay. I guess that's... Okay, I guess that's all we have for that. Okay, so we have the river sample, the glacial sample, and the cliff sample. Do I just use those words? So rub cliff sample on plate. Because the spins are embedded into the cliff sample, it's a bit too awkward to rub against the streak plate. Oh. Okay, I need to... That's okay. It's still a nice sample and a good piece of field work. A note has been added to your notebook. Does that mean that I don't need to... Oh, streak cliff sample. Except I didn't actually streak it. I didn't actually... Okay, I guess that means that... I was thinking, do I need to get the specimens out of the sample somehow? But I guess we don't need to do that. We just... This is kind of like This is kind of like a it's the thought that counts situation. You tried to do it and you didn't actually do it, but that's okay. It still counts, I'm assuming. Okay, fine. Rub, what was the other one? River sample on plate. You rub the specimens from the river sample onto the streak plate. Oh, not onto, but on the streak plate. One of the specimens produces a white streak. I gotta get the... I'm sorry, I gotta think that that Julia, the maker of the game, the writer of the game, is doing this on purpose at this point. I gotta think that Julia, I mean, come on. I rubbed my sample on the streak plate and it left a white streak. I think Julia knows what she's doing here, and I'm pretty sure that she's educating us about mineralogy while subtly, yeah, okay. The streak plate probably has a Mohs hardness of about 6.5, so this specimen is softer than that. Since diamonds have a Mohs hardness of 10, I can conclude that this part of the specimen is not a diamond. The remaining specimens from the river sample don't make any streaks on the streak plate. The streak plate has a Mohs hardness of 6.5 to 7. I've only said that 6 or 7 times now.
That means the minerals in the specimen are harder than that. Garnet's going to have a hardness of up to 7.5, and diamonds have a Mohs hardness of 10, so they wouldn't make a streak. I wonder if Albert will let me borrow one of his Mohs hardness picks so I can test the remaining bits of my river specimen.
How would he do that? He doesn't. He lost his kit. Doesn't have his stuff anymore.
Wonderful. I'm satisfied with my fieldwork and analysis for today. It's getting late, but I'm pleased with my work today.
Your stomach rumbles. It's dinner time. Proceed to the dining room when you're ready to eat. But I didn't even rub the other sample. There's still the glacial sample. Rub the glacial sample on the plate. There's some for the glacial radical on the streak plate, but no streak is produced.
This sample is granite, which has the Mohs hardness of 7, so I'm not surprised that it didn't make a streak on the plate.
Alright, so what notes did we make here? Oh, okay, so it just says streak to the cliff sample, the river sample, and the boulder sample. Okay, now we can go to the dining room. Okay. So the only sample that actually made a streak, that actually really left any impression, was that one, was the one of them, but I guess that's all that mattered. Alright, let's go to the dining room. Hold on, before we do that, let me just quickly check the walkthrough. I know it's kind of cheap to keep looking at the walkthrough, but I just don't want to miss something, because now we're at the risk of, missing something and potentially having to go back and do a bunch of crazy, wacky stuff. So, after making further progress in the games, rather than having to backtrack too much, I might as well just go ahead and make sure that I didn't miss anything, so... Alright, looks like we're pretty... Okay, looks like there's not much to do here other than the obvious thing of go to the dining area and eat. So let's do that.
Wow, I've certainly worked up an appetite.
Jack has prepared a delicious dinner of salted pork and buttered parsnips. Margot hasn't come down for dinner. Evan says she's not feeling well. Outstanding. Fantastic detective work, Nancy. You're a natural. I'm assuming this is the game's sort of rating system. It's kind of letting you know how well you did and whether you missed anything. But I did miss that one eavesdropping thing where, you can hide behind the tapestry to eavesdrop behind the two guys in the study. I did miss that, and the game still said, I think, this same message. So I guess it doesn't tell you about everything. I mean, ideally, it would kind of give you a hint and say, oh, you missed something, maybe you could do whatever to kind of not miss it next time, but it doesn't seem to be doing that consistently, or at least it doesn't do that for everything. Anyway, all right. So, Albert, I hear your field kit has gone missing. Too bad. Albert narrows his eyes. Mr. Richards, you must realize this is merely a delay, nothing more. Yeah, I kind of thought that Evan was being sarcastic. I mean, he said too bad, and I wasn't sure how sincere he was, but okay, my guess was correct. He was being a little bit sneeringly self-satisfied. See, I don't know about that. There's a war on. Canada might have bigger fish to fry soon enough. I got a feeling all this could get forgotten about. Well, I won't have my possessions stolen. Surely the lodge has a way to secure valuables. Yeah, sure. There are 2 trunks in the upstairs closet. Jack's got keys. I've only got a key for the blue trunk. You can lock up your stuff in there. That will have to do. And if something goes missing, there will be no mistaking who's to blame. And what about the automobile? Has it been fixed yet? Jack and I looked at the automobile. I don't have the part with me, but I'll bring it next time I visit. I suppose that will have to do. I like this guy's sort of passive-aggressive approach to everything. When he doesn't get what he wants, he just says, I suppose that will have to do. It's kind of like... I should start saying that more. When I don't get something that I want, I'm just going to say... From now on in life, when I don't get something that I want, I'm going to say, I suppose that will have to do. I'm sure that will get a positive reaction from people. I don't care one way or the other. Everyone seems to be eager to escape the dinner table.
Phew, these dinners are pretty tense.
You follow Jack into the kitchen and help him with the dishes. Gee, thanks, miss. Oh, can you do me another favor? Favor spelled the Canadian way with a U in it. Take this bowl of broth up to Margot. She's still not feeling well. She's in her boudoir. She says being surrounded by beautiful things makes her feel better.
Sure thing, Jack.
Game is autosaved. All right, cool. So we have, what do we have? We have a nice steaming bowl of wholesome broth. The steam from the broth fogs up your loop. You can't really examine it more closely. All right. I wonder if I can drink it. I wonder if I... Let's just save. Let's just save and try drinking the broth.
This broth is for Margot. I wouldn't dream of it.
Okay. I kind of figured that she would say that because Nancy is... she's very well behaved. She's very respectful. She doesn't want to take people's things, so I assumed that she wouldn't do that, but I'm just going to load the game just in case. You never know. I'm always paranoid about these games penalizing you somehow for trying to do things you're not supposed. Oh, I hear voices. All right, eavesdrop. Who's speaking? Okay, so this is Nathan and Kimmy, but who's speaking? I assume this is Nathan speaking. It's a myth that cormorants hunt fish that are prized by fishermen. Unfortunately, the birds have been subject to many attempted exterminations. The colony suffered when Crimson was a garnet mining town, but it's recovered since. The nesting colony in the cliffs to the southwest of the lodge is the only intact example for many kilometers. I'm so relieved to hear that the colony... Oh, this is Kimmy now.
I'm so relieved to hear that the colony survived. Nature is so resilient.
It's not really. Well, it can be, but it's not always. It is, yeah, exactly. It is to a point. It's not always. But should the government return and claim this land for its so-called precious stones, the entire nesting colony will be at risk. This cannot be allowed to happen. I know I'm changing his voice as I go. I really have no idea what kind of voice he's supposed to have. I mean, I could give him a stereotypical Native American voice, but that would probably be really, really racist. I mean, not that I necessarily care that much about that. I mean, I know people wouldn't take it that seriously, but I don't know. I don't know what voice to give him. The entire nesting colony will be at risk. This cannot be allowed to happen.
Oh dear.
Nathan and Kimmy continue to chat about cormorants and other birds. You find yourself starting to nod off. Yeah, that was a boring eavesdrop. You know, sometimes people think, oh, it must be really exciting to listen to people's conversations. It's not. If you actually listen in on people's private conversations, most of the time you'll find they're really boring. Like maybe like 5% of the time people are having those really juicy, sort of steamy conversations that... those lurid conversations that, yeah, anyway. Not that I'm necessarily speaking from experience. You know, I wouldn't do something like that, but, you know, you hear about these things. Okay, what's next? Do I just go up and take the broth to Margot, or do I guess I just go and give the broth to Margot. I guess that's all we do. That's all she wrote. That's all she do. We go and give her the broth to you, except not to you, but to Margot. Except it's not Margot, it's Margot. Margot, she's in her boudoir, he says, which, yeah, she's been sitting here the whole day.
Are you feeling okay, Margot? Today my body...
Oh, we said this already. Give broth to Margot.
Margot, Jack made some broth for you. Oh, he is so wonderful. Please set it down on this table.
A note has been out to your notebook. Assuming it just says, yeah, gave broth. Okay. All right. Thanks for noting that. Does she have anything else to say? No? Okay. Ask Margot about... Whom do we want to ask about? Did we ask her about Evan?
He may appear gruff, but he is so sweet and gentle-hearted.
He might be that way to you. He might not be that way to everyone. Albert?
He seems very professional.
Nathan?
He and Evan sometimes talk late into the night, but mon cher will not discuss it with me. Oh, so secretive. Ho, ho, ho.
Oh.
Oh, hello, Nessa.
What? Okay, I guess we listen with the glass.
Nessa, what do you want? Jack asked me to bring this water up to you. And I thought we could have a little chat besides. I knew there was a catch. I know how hard it is for us women to make it in the world.
Okay, okay. I'm sorry, this does not come across as sincere at all.
Is that so? Indeed, especially for women who have lived particularly roughly.
Is she being sympathetic or sarcastic? I can't tell.
Such as yourself. What do you mean? I have a very good memory for faces, and there's no mistaking one as pretty as yours. That bad bit of business up in Skagway, the mountains never caught you, though they
Oh, the Mounties. The Mounties, of course, are the Canadian, basically the Canadian Federal Police, kind of like the Canadian version of the FBI, for example.
The Mounties never caught you, though they did try. There were wanted posters posted up as far south as Niagara Falls,
which is at the border with the US, for those who don't know.
Break it off with Evan and leave Crimson, and maybe I won't tell. Huh? The things I've seen? The things I've done? You don't frighten me, you old hag. She is such a sweet and charming little girl. Oh, you old hag. You will get nothing, do you hear me? I will make sure of that. Skagway was lawless because people looked the other way, but up here, there's no one to see what could happen. Watch out. I figured as much. Silly little gold digger, you watch out.
Time to hide behind the trunk again. I'm sort of getting the feeling that no one here can be trusted. I'm kind of thinking, between the two of them, Margot and Nessa, which of them is the good, trustworthy person, and who of them is the villain? But right now, I kind of feel like neither of them can be trusted. It seems kind of like both of them have something to hide. Both of them are dishonest. Both of them are just trying to get rich. I don't think either of them are really actually the good guy or good woman, good person here. All right. Well, should we go in and a note has been added to your notebook? What note got added to the notebook? Mako involved in Skagway. MP must be mounted police. The Mounties, of course, are the mounted police. Like again, they're the Canadian Federal Police. But what is NW? Is that Northwest? Northwest Mounted Police? Hold on, let's check. What is NWMP? Doesn't seem to ring a bell. It is Northwest Mounted Police. Oh. It existed until 1920, which would explain why I haven't heard of it. Yeah, in this game. Okay, so in this game's time period, it was still something current, but it doesn't exist today. Okay, that's why I hadn't heard of it. NWP is looking for her. Nessa is trying to blackmail Mako with this info. Okay, so yeah, so they're both basically just lying, cheating people who are just trying. Yeah, okay, so neither of them are really worth defending, I guess.
I've lost my appetite, I'm afraid. This water will be enough for me.
Okay. Should I get the bowl back? You clean up the spill and decide to take the empty bowl back downstairs for Jack to wash.
Merci beaucoup, mademoiselle. You are so helpful. I don't have much of an appetite right now anyway. This water is enough for me.
Okay. She didn't need that much comfort. All right. I guess we go take the bowl back downstairs and wash it with Jack. Hi, Jack. I'm busy with these dishes right now, miss. Sure, let's wash the bowl.
I should give this bowl to Jack so he can clean it.
Give bowl to Jack. You hand the empty bowl back to Jack. Thanks, miss. I really appreciate all the help. Tell you what, I'll brew you up a cup of tea and bring it to you in the conservatory.
Gee, thanks.
You head into the conservatory. Nathan and Kimmy are still talking about birds. You had no idea when anyone could be so keen about a topic. Jack brings you a piping hot cup of you know, I don't know how it's pronounced. I've seen the word, but first of all, I think it's I've usually seen it spelled without the H. And so I'd say chamomile, but I don't know if that's correct, because I don't drink tea myself. From flowers he grew himself! Exclamation mark. The combination of the warm tea, the comfy couch, and the slightly boring conversation lull you to sleep. I like how they say slightly boring, emphasizing, yeah, only slightly, so as to not be impolite. You happily doze on the couch until you are awoken by a commotion upstairs. You get upstairs, you head towards the sound of the noise and find yourself in Nessa's bedroom. You rush into the room to find Nessa and Evan standing nearly nose to nose in a heated conversation. Remember, for anyone who doesn't remember, this is brother and sister. They're not in a relationship. This is a brother and sister.
Oh dear.
Oh, hi Nancy.
Someone stole my ruby brooch. I demand you recover my brooch and bring the perpetrator to justice. There are so many suspicious people milling about.
You mean besides you?
Nathan, for one. It's obvious that he's hanging around just waiting for you to die, so that he can finally get his hands on all of this. And then there's Margot.
Enough! It's clear that Evan is at his limit. His eyes flash with anger momentarily, but it fades just as quickly. He grimaces, shrugs, and then looks away. I got my hands full as it is. Curio's smashed too. A bunch of stuff's gone.
What? Some of that's mine. Someone's robbing me blind. How dare you?
You probably misplaced your brooch. As for the curio, I bet you smashed it yourself because I told you you had lost the curio key and it was locked up tight. I know you're here to get what you think you're owed any way you can. So don't expect any of my help. I'm done with this. Keep your voice down, why don't you? Margot's resting. I'm gonna go check on her. Don't get me involved.
I should take a closer look at the jewelry box. And I should also examine the curio cabinet in the room I'm sharing with Kimmy. Oh, I remember reading a mystery novel where fingerprints helped solve a crime.
Alright. Oh, Chapter 3, Investigations. Alright. A note just made out to your notebook. I was gonna... Okay, it's nice. Nice of the game to note that. Examine the jewelry box and curio cabinet. That's easy. Some things are very clearly signposted in this game and some things are not. I mean, like I said, not everything can be so obvious. Not everything can be just given away to the player, so I guess it makes sense. Anyway, okay. I guess we're on Chapter 3, which means, yeah, this is a good time to stop the video. So, thanks for watching, everyone. This has been more of the Crimson Diamond. I'm having fun. I'm actually enjoying this. It's actually quite fun. It's quite nice. Quite a nice little piece of retro adventure gaming work. So, I hope that you folks are enjoying it as well. Thanks for watching, as always, everyone. I will talk to you all later. Ta-ta for now.